When you need a prescription filled, chances are you head to the nearest drugstore. Those who spend a lot of money on prescription drugs and health aids shop around for competitive prices and great service. At Drugmart, our customers are family. We provide convenient parking, customer counseling, accept all insurances, and fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less. The next time you need to make a trip to the drugstore, stop at any of your convenient Des Moines area Drugmarts.
When it comes to prescriptions and health aids, everyone does it well.
At Drugmart, we just do it better.
Drugmart, they're the finest.
You don't think about how much it costs to heat a store, but those expenses are passed along. That's why we work to minimize overhead costs at Hy-Vee. For example, Bob Nielsen and his staff are using an innovative system to heat the air and water in our stores. It works like the heater in your car, reclaiming heat from the water-cooled motors of our freezer pumps. That helps us cut energy costs, and less overhead for us means low prices for you. Low prices all day, every day at Hy-Vee.
Arnie's trying to cheat.
I really need to be discreet.
Roseanne, kiss me.
On the next Roseanne.
Monday at 6 on Channel 5.
Halloween will never look the same.
Who's he supposed to be? The Alfalfa-nator.
On the next Roseanne.
Monday at 6:30 on Channel 5. Donahue, weekday mornings at 9.
As he boards his plane for a weekend summit with President Clinton, Russian President Boris Yeltsin leaves behind a deeply troubled country.
Yeltsin strives to be the cabinet, the chief justice, and a legislator, and Western leaders support him. Will they be responsible if there's bloodshed here?
Everybody saw him on Saturday night. He was deadly drunk. How can you support alcoholic dictator?
It is a complicated game. And to help us understand, we'll be joined tonight by the world's greatest chess player, himself an expert on Russian politics, Gary Kasparov.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
The truth now. Do you really care about the Clinton-Yeltsin summit in Vancouver this weekend? Do Russia's economic and political problems even break into the top 20 items on your list of things to worry about? More than likely, you do not care. Most of us have taken to worrying a lot less about the Soviet Empire since it fractured into more than a dozen pieces, and most Americans perceive their own economic problems to be of far greater importance than those of the Russians. Still, there's a titanic struggle underway in Russia, and whether all of us appreciate it or not, the United States has an enormous stake in the outcome of that struggle. We have some fascinating background tonight on why Russia is in such a mess these days, what has really been happening there these last couple of weeks, and who some of the key players are. To assist in this process at the beginning and end of this broadcast, a keen political analyst who also happens to be the world chess champion. Gary Kasparov is the co-founder also of Democratic Russia, a political movement which helped elect Boris Yeltsin in 1990. But his support for Yeltsin has cooled somewhat over the years. I spoke to Gary Kasparov in Moscow earlier today. Gary, perhaps in chess terms, identify some of the key players for us. Clearly the most powerful figure on the board, one would think, the Queen in this case, Boris Yeltsin. Still the most powerful figure on the board?
Yes, I would say so. But obviously we have to understand that in chess you have black and white pieces, different pieces.
Right.
And that's why we have most powerful pieces from one side and from other side also. But I assume that we're not playing just one simple game. We're playing the whole match. And even if somebody loses one game, that's important but not relevant for the result of the whole match. You can win next 3 games and just to be ahead. I believe that Yeltsin is the most powerful figure in the democratic camp or the camp around the democracy in Russia, and Khasbulatov is the most powerful in the opposite camp.
Ruslan Khasbulatov, the Speaker of the Russian Parliament.
Khasbulatov has an important trump in his hands as public's, not disapproval, but some disappointments of the democratic changes taking place in Russia.
Valentin Zorkin, chairman of the Constitutional Court. something close to a Chief Justice.
He's not playing on the Yeltsin side, and it's now, I think, he is supporting more or less openly Khasbulatov.
And Alexander Rutskoy, Yeltsin's vice president.
I think Rutskoy is standing by, ready to take power, but he is not playing on either side. I mean, he supported probably Khasbulatov today, but it just was an attempt, you know, just to replace Yeltsin.
We'll be back with Gary Kasparov in a few minutes, but keep the players from his chessboard in mind as ABC's David Ensor guides us through what, even by Moscow standards, has been an extraordinary 3 weeks.
The Kremlin walls are no strangers to political struggle, but never before was the struggle played out so publicly. The world watched as the battle lines between Boris Yeltsin and the majority in the Congress of People's Deputies were drawn. But as the key players have told Nightline, much of the struggle went on behind the scenes. On March 12th, Congress strips Yeltsin of the special powers he had used to push Russia towards capitalism. Yeltsin storms out and retreats to his country home to brood. March 20th, on nationwide television, Yeltsin declares he will hold a referendum on his leadership and on a new parliament under a new constitution. He will ignore the Congress of People's Deputies.
Today it is extremely clear the root of all the problems lies not in the conflict between Congress and the President, but in the deep contradiction between the people and the former Bolshevik system, which today is again striving to renew all its lost power over Russia.
Within hours, the Vice President, Alexander Rutskoy, and Valery Zorkin, the Chief Justice of Russia's highest court, go on television to denounce the president, saying a constitutional coup is underway.
Every hour was important. We felt time was passing, and we felt very edgy, very nervous, but we still had control over our feelings.
Ruslan Khasbulatov, Speaker of the Parliament, is in Kazakhstan that night. He is afraid he might be arrested on his return.
It would be easier to arrest the Speaker overnight, so I waited until the next day to see how serious the coup attempt was, to see if the army was involved.
In Russia.
From Washington comes carefully worded support for Yeltsin.
As Russia's only democratically elected national leader, he has our support, as do his reform government and all reformers throughout the Russian Federation.
By now, Washington, along with all of Russia, is wondering about the army. A group of retired officers has called for opposition to Yeltsin. Russia's military has a decision to make. March 21st, Defense Minister Pavel tells legislators the army will not take sides. An editor of the army newspaper says Grachev has no choice. The army must stay out of the dispute because the army is split.
That will be the disaster, complete disaster. It will automatically lead to the civil war. And I suppose they do understand it very, very properly.
The next day, March 22nd, Russia's highest court convenes. It still has not seen any presidential decrees, but by 9-3 vote, it rules the actions Yeltsin threatens to take unconstitutional, clearing the way for an impeachment vote by the full Congress of People's Deputies. But when the president's decrees finally come out 2 days later, to most people's surprise, there is no mention of presidential rule. Yeltsin has been forced to back down by members of his own government. Sergei Shakrai is one of Yeltsin's 3 closest aides.
Vice President Rutskoy refused to put his initials on the decree, so Yeltsin had to sign the weaker version instead.
But there is worse for the president, a personal tragedy, the death of his mother with whom he was very close. On March 23rd, some of Yeltsin's critics, including the Chief Justice, attend the funeral.
How did the funeral fit into the crisis?
It brought up a wave of compassion
for Yeltsin.
His mother, even dying, helped him.
His mother's death helped him politically.
But that's, again, that's the ugly side of the life of a politician.
Inside the Russian White House building, an anti-Yeltsin faction meets, not realizing that the microphones have been left on in the room.
So far is bad. I mean, getting 2/3. We've counted 600 votes. No more so far, and we need 694.
The voice is Andrei Golovin, anti-communist and anti-Yeltsin.
Of course, I understood that we will have no votes enough for impeachment.
The 23rd of March is a key day for Yeltsin because of the funeral and because of the recognition by his opponents that they are short of votes. Parliament leaders suspend their attack for one day. Yeltsin has time to regroup. From Washington, strong support for the Russian leader from President Clinton at his first formal news conference.
The United States supports the historic movement toward democratic political reform in Russia. President Yeltsin is the leader of that process.
American support gets prominent play on Russian television, though his opponents will try to use it against him.
When foreign politicians take sides, they should not be surprised when the other side reacts. Let's just say that anti-American sentiments will grow in Russia when Yeltsin goes. And I think it is evident that he will go in 1993.
March 25th, the eve of the emergency Congress on whether to impeach the president. Yeltsin makes another televised appeal, this one aimed at the legislators.
Think about this. Why are you being convened? Most people know the answer. It's being done to thwart a nationwide vote of confidence in the president and to remove, directly or indirectly, the popularly elected president.
March 27th, by the second day of the Congress, Yeltsin appears dog-tired. His speech is slurred. His enemies say he's been drinking.
Everybody saw him on Saturday night. He was deadly drunk. How can you support alcoholic dictator?
But aides say Yeltsin is exhausted and still mourning his mother, but sober. As if to prove it, the president takes to the streets late Saturday night. The support he hears seems to recharge his battery. The next morning, Yeltsin is confronted once again by angry deputies. Against their own leadership's advice, they decide to go ahead with an impeachment vote against the president. For hours, the nation awaits the parliament's verdict on Boris Yeltsin.
We'll be back with more of David Ensor's report in just a moment.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth.
Chrysler Corporation has sold over 3 million minivans, 28 of which were bought by other car makers like Nissan, Toyota, and Ford. Maybe they were hoping to take our ideas and somehow improve on them. Their work has led to one sobering conclusion. Anybody can take apart the world's best-selling minivans. Only one company can put them together. If you give up AT&T quality and call from Phoenix to Dallas with someone else, here's your big savings. Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
Now at Goodyear, you can save 50% on the second tire when you buy one tire at the regular price. That's half off Goodyear Premium All-Season Radials for cars and light trucks. Any way you look at it, you save. Only at Goodyear now.
Give me that $1 million smile. You could spend your life happy. Pray for the freedom. Pray for the possibilities. Your dreams may come true. The world could open to you. So smile. That $1 million smile. It's a great chance to change your life.
It's a therapeutic mattress sale going on right now at Don's Furniture in Des Moines. Don's ordered several truckloads of mattresses from the Therapeutic Factory for this special sales event. Don's has the thick plush high-profile medical oil crowns, the pillow tops, the Cairo comforts, and the extra firm hotel-motel models. Purchase your new mattress by the set or buy the individual piece. Don's offers Dreamline Queen mattresses $89, full mattresses $59, and twin mattresses $49. Hurry in today and receive same-day delivery, free removal of your old mattress, and a free bed frame with all sets. Don's Furniture, 4401 Northeast 14th Street, Des Moines.
I'm David Brinkley. As Presidents Clinton and Yeltsin hold a summit meeting in Canada, the guests on our Sunday program will be Boris Yeltsin and our Secretary of State, Warren Christopher.
While Boris Yeltsin's impeachment was being debated in the Russian parliament, it was clearly a moment of truth for the crowds that had gathered in Red Square. David Ensor continues his story.
Sunday, March 28th. Thousands of anti-Yeltsin demonstrators are on the march towards the Kremlin. With a secret ballot vote set on whether to impeach the president, they know they are closer than ever to their goal. The mood is festive, nostalgic. But their voices are overwhelmed by tens of thousands gathering across town outside the Kremlin. Yeltsin's supporters give him confidence. He does not care, he tells them, how the impeachment vote turns out.
You have come here today at the right time. It's the day when the destiny of the president is being decided as well as the destiny of Russia and the Russian people. I believe 600 people should not decide the destiny of Russia. I will not obey. I will obey only the will of the people.
When I heard his speech today to the rally of his supporters, it frightened me because he spoke at the top of his voice and seemed overwhelmed by the spirit of the rally. Do you think that now, if the crowd follows him and ruins the Constitution, there will be peace? I don't think so.
He crossed the line. He openly said that I am not respecting any law here, the highest law. Not the Congress, not the Constitution. Nobody can be higher than me.
It is Yeltsin the populist that most annoys other Russian politicians. He still has more public support than any of them, and he has little or no patience for the everyday give and take of democratic politics.
We learned about Boris Yeltsin under pressure that actually the situation of stress and crisis is a situation when he is at his best. Unfortunately, it does not solve his problems in this current political situation.
Sunday evening, Boris Yeltsin survives impeachment by 72 votes, a close call in a parliament with 1,033 members. The parliament agrees to his referendum for April 25th on who should rule Russia, but with questions and voting rules skewed to try to prevent him from winning.
It is motivated by the devil in order to split the votes of the people at the elections. It is not right.
Yeltsin goes back to Red Square to celebrate with supporters what he calls the defeat of the coup, but his opponents are celebrating their new strength. Yeltsin's hold on power may now be tenuous at best. In Washington and around the world, leaders realize they do not have much leverage.
It's a very dynamic and turbulent time in Russia at the present time. I don't think it would be either wise or helpful for me to try to predict the outcome.
Yeltsin strives to be the cabinet, the chief justice, and the legislator, and Western leaders support him. Will they be responsible if there's bloodshed here? I think they should be.
Unfortunately, more and more people here in this country don't believe that the United States have true will to help Russia.
As the deputies depart, all political institutions in would-be democratic Russia have been weakened by the bruising battle.
Unfortunately, normal democracy and normal capitalism is somewhere 10 years from here, while fascism could be 2 years from here.
In a tired nation, stopping to regain its breath, there is growing pessimism.
It was so tense all the time. I feel myself so tired right now. And I'm worrying what happened tomorrow. I'm afraid maybe we will come back to our past again, the centuries of our past, our tsars, rulers. I don't like it.
For the moment, the president and parliament have so damaged each other's credibility and authority that there's considerable confusion in Russia over whose word is law. That guarantees another battle soon. I'm David Ensor for Nightline in Moscow.
When we come back, more of our conversation with Gary Kasparov.
There's never been a better day to come back to AT&T.
Well, how come they won't take me back?
In fact, over 100,000 businesses have come back.
Yeah, I'll make it 100,001.
Come back to AT&T now, and your business, large or small, can get 100 days free.
Oh, my whole career's a small... Even my wife took me back. I mean, not for long. Oh, she'll hear from me, too.
Introducing Ford Taurus SHO and the craving. If you've had a craving for a truly sophisticated performance sedan, may we suggest our 24-valve, 220 horsepower Taurus SHO, now available with automatic transmission. Think of it as caviar for the power-hungry.
Rex, everyday low prices on color TVs, microwave ovens, audio and video equipment. Name brands you know and trust. Nobody beats Rex, and here's why. It's Rex's low price guarantee. Find the same thing for less within 30 days, and we will refund the difference, plus 25% of the difference. And that's why everyone knows.
Make your house a home with Family Time's easy rent-to-own. Family Time offers name-brand home electronics and furniture. Their friendly staff will listen to your needs to help you find just what you want. With several payment plans to choose from, you are sure to find one to fit your budget. No deposits, no credit check, no long-term obligation, and free service. It's easy to make your house a home when you go to Family Time Home Furnishings and rent-to-own at any of these 5 central Iowa locations.
Happy birthday! Wow, is this a mobile home?
It's a manufactured home.
It sure is neat.
Look at all this space.
There's a lot of room for cookies in here. Where do you get a house like this?
We get ours at LNC Homes in Ogden.
What a pretty potty.
Does this kind of house cost a lot of money?
No. Plus, financing, delivery, and setup are all included in one price.
Does LNC Homes have a lot of houses like this?
Yes, and you can choose custom features from unlimited floor plans.
Wow, a window in the ceiling. Radical.
LNC Homes. Home ownership made truly easy.
Saturday, the Vancouver Summit. Yeltsin needs it to build his power at home. Clinton needs it to enhance his image as a world leader. They come together in Vancouver. Peter Jennings is there reporting on ABC's World News Saturday. And Sunday, Boris Yeltsin with Peter Jennings. An exclusive interview on This Week with David Brinkley.
And we're back once again with Gary Kasparov. The summit is coming up in Canada tomorrow. Was it a good idea from Yeltsin's point of view to leave the country?
I think that he has to follow the schedule. I mean, there's nothing really bad happening in the country today for him to cancel the summit. And I think that will be very important that the West is having a new opportunity to show the full support for democracy in Russia.
You know that we have a tendency in this country to personalize politics, and just as we once personalized it in the form of Mikhail Gorbachev, now we have tended to personalize everything in Russia in the person of Boris Yeltsin. Are we making a mistake there?
Yeah, that could be a very, very big mistake with the grave consequence in the nearest future. Because to personalize politics in Russia, it's a very dangerous decision. And Yeltsin, of course, is a key player, you know, in the Democratic camp, but we shouldn't forget that Yeltsin himself missed the great chance to dissolve Russian parliament in September, October '91. Then he made other mistakes, not pushing reform hard enough. Then he sacrificed his key advisors or key players like Gaidar and Boris by doing these compromises, unnecessary compromises with the reactionaries in the parliament. And partly the problems we have today, it's because Yeltsin couldn't act decisively. And I'm not so sure that in the nearest future, by having the new elections for the parliament, for instance, maybe by the end of this year, will the Democrats and the private sector and the population will necessarily support Yeltsin or Yeltsin's people. I think they will be split in their opinions. And now we're united by the fact that there is a threat from communists or from the hardliners, from reactionaries. But in fact, the West should make clear differences between the fractions that now are supporting Yeltsin. And I think that Gorbachev's example, I mean, what's happened with Gorbachev, when West threw its weight and power and great deal of money, this mistake shouldn't be repeated.
Well, when you say that mistake shouldn't be repeated, clearly you would agree that Russia needs help of some kind or another, but if not in the form of money, what kind of help?
Oh, obviously, we always asked for technical assistance. I think it's if America can help, training Russian bankers or private entrepreneurs or building the houses for Russian officers that are coming now from other countries, absolutely fine. But if you talk about financial assistance, I mean, we have a very, very negative experience by just looking at the Gorbachev's time 2 or 3 years ago. That's money that's just disappeared somewhere in the black hole. I mean, that was taken by the bureaucracy. And that's why I'm just scared that the money will be given as a very nice and great gesture from the West or specifically from the United States, but the result will be zero and it will disappoint Russian people.
Gary, one last word of analysis or counsel from you on, I mean, if President Clinton were to pick up the phone, as he has a tendency to do, and say, Gary, I've always admired your chess, I admire you as a political thinker, how do I deal with Boris Yeltsin now? I don't want to become too closely associated with him, but by the same token, clearly he needs some kind of support. What would your advice to the president be?
I think there's a main rule to remember. It's democracy first, Yeltsin second. Yes, we support Yeltsin because it's democracy, but our main goal is not Yeltsin or nobody in person, but it's a democratic and free Russia. And it means that the American support in all forms will be given to those structures that are supporting this course. And President Yeltsin should be personally accounted for mistakes he made, but he will remain in our history as a great person who helped us to start this fight.
Gary Kasparov, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I'll be back in a moment.
Introducing the new Subaru Impreza front-wheel drive. Over 20 years ago, Subaru was the first car company in America to introduce a full line of front-wheel drive vehicles. When it comes to putting the weight of the engine over the driving wheels, Subaru has the weight of experience. The new Subaru Impreza. It's not just another new car.
Special introductory price offer, starting under $11,000.
Today, there should not be a place where your business plan ends and your information strategy begins. The two should be one. IBM Services can help you pull them together. We have management consultants to help you decide what to do, systems consultants to show you how, technical experts to do the job for you, even an IBM organization who'll run your systems. There's never been so much help from one place before. There's never been a better time to do business with IBM.
If your business gives up the quality of AT&T International Long Distance and calls Italy with someone else, here's your big savings.
3 coins in the fountain.
Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
Hey, down in Napoleonville, Louisiana, this is what makes Ace the place.
Service, and you get it. Right now, an Ace Round Point Shoveler Lawn Rake is just $5.99 each. Plus, get these quality Ace fertilizers for your lawn.
Hey, Ace is America's place for helpful service.
It's a therapeutic mattress sale going on right now at Don's Furniture in Des Moines. Don's ordered several truckloads of mattresses from the therapeutic factory for this special sales event. Don's has the thick, plush, high-profile medical oil crowns, the pillow tops, the Cairo comforts, and the extra-firm hotel-motel models. Purchase your new mattress by the set or buy the individual piece. Don's offers Dreamline Queen mattresses $89, full mattresses $59, and twin mattresses $49. Hurry in today and receive same-day delivery, free removal of your old mattress, and a free bed frame with all sets. Don's Furniture, 4401 Northeast 14th Street, Des Moines.
This Sunday on This Week with David Brinkley, my colleague Peter Jennings interviews Russian President Boris Yeltsin. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
If you wish a video cassette version of Nightline, the cost is $14.98, plus $3.95 shipping and handling. If you wish a printed transcript, please send $5 to 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203. Nightline is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
Moses.
The story of one man's courage and a nation's deliverance.
People say, God, it must have been fun making 10 Commandments. It's very hard work.
Behold his mighty hand.
Cecil B. DeMille's greatest is one of the best epics ever made. So let it be done. Charlton Heston is Moses. The 10 Commandments Sunday.
Roseanne, weeknights at 6 and 6:30.